And look, is there such a thing as a fair fight in a marriage? Let's talk about that here on this episode of Couples Pursuit Live.
Couples Pursuit.
Hello, this is Vincent
and Valerie
Woodard. And on this episode of Couples Pursuit,
we're going to talk about not letting the little things turn into a big thing, with tips on how to fight fair in your marriage.
That's right. That's right. Hey, look, in this episode, you will learn some tips and strategies to help you improve your communication with your spouse, even if you think you tried everything and nothing seems to work. If this sounds like something that you might be interested in, or someone that you know that might be interested in this topic, I urge you to please share and hit that like button. Smash it. And it does let us know that, you know, hey, somebody's out there. We just thank y'all so much for tuning in. And also, if you find this topic interesting, you can also share this with two people that you think of that come to mind right now that might be going through some kind of trials and tribulations where they're fighting, they're fighting just as much as they're talking or loving each other. So I think it's going to be really great. So, baby, don't let the little things turn into a big thing.
I mean, if I had a motto in marriage, I think that would be it. Because I'm after the little foxes. The Bible says it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. Those little things that kind of eat away at the roots, at the foundation of your relationship. And I'm really one who wants to just like, babe, you can tell them if there's an issue, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Let's handle it. Let's talk about it. Let's deal with it so it doesn't become a bigger problem. So I think that the topic is right on point. Don't let the little things turn into something big. Yeah.
This is, I think, one of the things that a lot of couples deal with. But I know in our marriage, it was one of those issues where they kept coming back. You know, sometimes couples push things aside, and I will push things aside and say, look, we know let's not deal with it right now. Let's just get past it. Let's move on. Okay, we're good. Let's just forget about it. You know, but what is it that we're forgetting about?
And not only that, those weren't the things you said to me. That's what you thought. And your actions revealed that you just wanted to get past it, but we never communicated that. You never communicated that to me. I just want to get past this. It just became either silent or volatile, and then we stopped. And then we would try to get past it. And it took me a long time to figure out that that's what you were trying to do. I really didn't clearly understand what was going on. And so I was constantly pushing to, no, let's talk about it, because I am of the opinion that, you know, if you don't deal with things, it will destroy the fiber of your relationship. And you were like, woman, please, will you just leave me alone? I want peace. But quiet and peace are not the same thing.
They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing. And I know that in our marriage, it was, this is kind of, you might say I'm going a bit too far, but it's like a silent killer. You know, it's one of those things that it kept constantly creeping back up when we're thinking that we're fighting fair. Like I wanted to fight with the rules, you know, and I wanted to say, okay, look, don't talk. If I say I'm done, if I say no, if I say it's not bothering me, you know, take it as that, and stop digging deeper. And you know, okay, it's like okay, wow. If I don't want to talk about it, that's how I feel, and I don't think we should go further.
It was his way. He didn't say it, but it was his way or the highway when it came to disagreements. Because it's interesting that you said you wanted rules. I wanted rules. Yeah. And the rules were no yelling, no leaving, no hitting below the belt. Yeah. Don't be mean. Don't be, sarcastic. And I was guilty of being sarcastic sometimes myself. And it didn't happen. All of those things would happen as a result of you trying to get me to do what you want to do. Leave it alone. Well, if I hit below the belt, if I say something that I know she's not going to like, if I walk away, if I whatever, then it's going to stop. She's going to stop talking. And so we were trying to accomplish what one another wanted without communicating what we wanted. And I remember towards the the dissolution of our marriage, we were talking about dissolving our marriage. One of the things that I said was that, you don't fight fair. You have to learn how to, it's possible to disagree without being ugly to one another. And your experience was, when people fight, that's what they do. And I'm like, no, it's not. No. You don't have to make me feel bad to fight or to disagree with me. And I think I just corrected myself when I said fight or disagree, because we were fighting, and what we had to do was learn how to discuss disagreement.
Well, you know what? It's amazing. God is just awesome, God, because that's how He changed our marriage. But I just urge you to, first of all, get to a common place together, and to at least agree on the fact that, we were just so tired of fighting. We were so tired of arguing about how to argue. We were so tired of just begging for, y'all know you were so tired for just begging for, look, stop yelling, stop being mean. If you have something to say it.
Articulate your emotion.
Don't emote it. Don't yell it. Don't throw it across the room.
Right.
Not you, but I'm just saying, the issue, don't just rah, 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 rah. It was like, we're tired of fighting about fighting. Let's just... It's
exhausting.
Yeah, let's just not... And no, it was not as simple as but just gonna stop. Okay, we stopped. But we were both at that point where, if nothing else changes, even if when we got to the point of separation and talk about divorce, we at least we did agree on, we are tired of fighting. We're exhausted.
I believe I told you, I said, you know what? I'm changing. And I don't like who I am becoming. In an effort to handle and to deal with the toxicity in our marriage, and the disagreements, and the emotional upheaval, in order to deal with that, I became somebody else. He said, you're getting mean. And I was like, I'm not mean. I'm tired of this. I don't want to keep doing this anymore. And even though I responded in a way that might seem like, well, anybody would expect, if that's the way, if that's what you're dealing with, anybody would. But I don't want to live like anybody would. I want an exceptional marriage. I want an exceptional relationship. I want the husband, and I want to be the wife that will do anything to love and honor my spouse, even when I'm upset, because it's so important for us to do that. To honor each other above our anger and our emotions, because emotions can bring tragedy. A friend of mine shared that with me many years ago. If you act out of your emotions, it can be tragic. It can be tragic.
And, we discussed earlier, just eliminating saying, look, let's just not fight. Let's, fighting fair, we put that up there because we know a lot of couples do experience. And even though in our marriage, we decided that we're just not going to fight anymore. You may be still in a situation where, I want to work it out, but my spouse doesn't. And when I try to do this, that happens or whatever. So we know what it's like. And we want to be able to just help you out in that situation right there. This is not an all-inclusive list, but it's some good starting points for you to maybe get on the track of, let's just not fight about fighting, argue about arguing. Let's set some boundaries, let's set some rules. Because first of all, disagreements, they incite the division. They help widen the gap between you and your spouse when you have a angst against them. We have something that's like, okay, and whatever your charge against them, you want to bring to the forefront. So, but it's kind of like you put it in between you. It's like, look, this is what I have against you.
It's not even kind of sort of, because if I'm sorry, I just got excited about that, because that's a good point. Because if we are not to put asunder what God put together, you don't put anything in between you. That's even yourself. I want to read a portion of scripture. Okay. Those of you who have a Bible or your phone, I'll give you a second to go to chapter 4 of the book of James. I know this is not Couples Pursuit Bible Study Edition, but this is a good word.
We speak from biblical principles.
Always. All right. The title of this section says Pride Promotes Strife. So what I thought about is, if you have to exalt your situation above your marriage and the integrity of your marriage, you are walking in pride. First of all, the word pride comes before the fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. So basically, if I put it in layman's terms, watch yourself. Don't think too highly of yourself, right?
Yeah.
James does say that as well. But in chapter 4, verse 1, it says, "Where do wars and fights come from among you? Do they not come from your desires for pleasure that war in your members? You lust and do not have, you murder and covet and cannot obtain, you fight and war, yet you do not have because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive because you ask amiss, that you may spend it on pleasures." And it goes on to talk about different topics. But I want to highlight the fact that the pride comes from the lust of the desire, your desire for pleasure. What is the pleasure? The pleasure to be right. Right? The pleasure to not be bothered.
Yeah.
The pleasure of staying where you are. The pleasure of being complacent. The pleasure of having your way.
Yeah.
That is not the proper attitude to have in a marriage, because it is not about him. It is not about me. It is about us, and us, for us, includes our covenant with God.
What you always say is, it's not about who's right, it's what's right.
It's what's right, and his word is right. And so we have to operate in that way. So if I don't like something he's doing, I have every right to say that.
Yeah.
What I don't have a right to do is to be disrespectful, demeaning, and slandering when I say that. And what he doesn't have a right to do is to try to shut me down or shut me out or shut me up when I want to say what it is I have on my heart. And if I consider myself, what is my desire? What is my motive? What is my goal and my intention in expressing my discontent with my husband? If I examine that, then I'm not going to come from a place of pride. Yeah. Because I have an opportunity to first check myself.
Well, that leads us to the first point. And we talked about setting boundaries. Don't argue with how to argue. You know, if you can get excited sometimes. You feel your blood start to boil, and your breath gets short, and you know those things about yourself, and your spouse does not like to be yelled at. Does not like. I mean, nobody probably likes to be yelled at, but
shouldn't be yelled at. They shouldn't be yelled at.
Your spouse is like, no, baby, stop yelling. Baby, the kids, baby, calm down. You hear that. You hear that so much that should be one point for you. So like, look. I just don't yell. You can do it. Don't say what you can't do. That was me. Yeah. I would think that I couldn't do it because I didn't know, because I didn't feel like not doing it. I wanted to yell. I wanted to get my point across. I wanted to be rah because you came to me with this.
You deserve it.
And you're wrong and rah. But no, we was not selling anything. We was, and then we had to go back to the rules. Okay, we said we weren't going to yell. The last argument that we had. And here we are yelling again, and I thought we weren't going to do that. So first of all, we don't argue with how to argue. That's first round.
Set the boundaries. Set the boundaries. I hope I'm not going too far into your notes. But when you say, don't argue about how to argue, we should never deal with one another in disrespect. Whether the spouse minds or that's just the way he is, or he just raises his voice, or she just gets loud, or she throws things. No. Even if your spouse doesn't reject or correct your ill behavior, it's your responsibility. It is their responsibility to manage their emotions.
Yeah, and odds are it probably didn't work the last time they did it.
Right, and if it does work, it is selfish. It is selfish too. It's like the two. I think I used the example of twins in a womb. When you have twins in a womb, sometimes one can suffocate the other. There can be a twisting of the umbilical cord. There can be a disproportionate amount of nutrients that one is receiving than the other. And if you think about that in their symbiotic relationship, in their relationship together in the womb, they should equally receive the nurturing that they should have. And I say that because a marriage has to be nurtured. It has to be watered in order for it to grow. That's what we had to learn how to do. We had to learn how to feed our relationship instead of starving it. And so why would you say, because of your pride and your emotion and your feelings, well, it's okay for me to choke him or to choke her or to cut off their nutrients, to cut off their supply because I want more? Yeah. That's selfish.
That is selfish. Yeah. That is selfish. And so, get to a point where, look, we don't want to argue. We don't want to keep fussing, yelling, emoting, just kind of suffocating the actual issue that we're trying to bring out. We're trying to uncover. We're trying to unpack. Let's not argue about how we're gonna argue. Let's agree to we're gonna have a talk. We're gonna talk about it. It's time to talk. Let's talk about it. Yeah. So that's one. Two, look, try to see things from your spouse's perspective. And once again, we don't encourage fighting. No. and like me and my wife, we just say we're just not gonna do it. We're tired. We're tired. Okay.
But that doesn't mean we don't deal with issues.
We deal with the issues, and so when we do, these are some of the things we even walk ourselves through. Try to see things from the other spouse's perspective. When they're talking, is it really? Yeah. I see what you're saying. I can see how you can think that because, I said something sarcastic. I thought I was playing. And, you was like, baby, you done said that, the way you said it and the way you smirked, the way you chuckled, I didn't realize it was kind of, and what you talked about, nah, that wasn't funny. It wasn't good. So, and when they bring it to you, your first reaction could be, I don't think it was that serious, But
we should always consider ourselves.
Exactly.
Think about what you said and think about how you say it. Think about where it comes from. I'm one of those people who don't like crass jokes and rude humor and all of that. I don't find pleasure in that because someone is being offended or someone is being hurt by what's being said. And sometimes we get numb to that kind of joking and jesting, and even the Bible warns against that crude humor and jokes and things like that because people's feelings are involved. And what's important to one person may not be as important to another, but what's important to him should be important to me.
Exactly.
Not because I have the same feeling about it, but because it's important to him. And if the issue that is important to him is trivial or it is out of line or context with faith and with logic or with quote unquote the norm. Let's say, for instance, he doesn't like to drive through tunnels, right? To me, he doesn't have a problem with that. To me, I don't have an issue with that. But if it's an issue for him, it's not an issue for most people. So that presents an opportunity to talk about, well, babe, why do you feel that way? Some of you that follow us might be like, why she always go to that? Well, why do you feel? Because it matters why he feels the way that he feels. It may not be logical. It may not be rational to most people for me to feel a certain way. But what my husband has mastered is, let's talk. I want
to understand, because right now I don't understand. Right. And instead of saying, well, that's not the way I would deal with it, that's not how I feel, so why is it an issue? Yeah. It's two people in this relationship. Right. And so understanding the way if you can understand from your partner's point, your spouse's point of view, you can also learn to kind of anticipate some things.
Right.
Like, I know my wife doesn't like, kind of crude humor, like movies like, Deadpool or, stuff like that or whatever. See, I know those things, So how would I look just sitting around, just watching a movie, they just, cussing and throwing, just being crude or whatever. And my wife walks in the room and I'm just like, okay, well, I started watching this movie first, so she got to just deal with it. No, she ain't got to just deal with it. This is her house too.
That's right. And you do that. You'll be like, well, I kind of like this movie or whatever, so I'm gonna watch it. I'll check it out and see what it's like. And then, he kind of tests the waters and says, I think you might be okay with this. It doesn't mean I never watch or listen to anything that might have, profanity in it. I mean, I don't know how you survive in this world if you don't. I don't live in the Bible and I don't live in church. And I learned how to temper my gates. So when I say my gates, I mean my ears, my eyes, my mind. What I take in is important to me. But I'm not so heavenly minded that I'm no earthly good. And no, that's not a scripture. It's just a saying. I realize that is the world that we live in. And so I appreciate my husband considering how I am and who I am, and we need to do that. We need to do that. We need to do that when we are, again, the topic tonight is about, we're giving tips for fighting fair. So you don't let a little thing turn into a big thing. If you know your spouse doesn't like a certain thing, don't do that thing.
Yeah.
Don't do that thing. If it's not essential to your survival, if she doesn't like it if you're breathing, now that's a problem.
I was just breathing.
Why are you breathing so loud?
Not snoring now. That's a whole nother thing. Now you snoring, you keep me up at night.
Are you okay, honey? You breathing kind of loud. Are you all right? Just make sure it's not, adult onset asthma or some kind of, issue going on.
Yeah, it's okay. And when you do have an issue with certain things, that leads us to our last point that we can only get to in this moment of time. Later on, we'll leave a link where if you want to talk more about your issues or whatever's on your mind, you and your spouse's mind, we'll give you opportunity later on. But to lead us to a point of use I statements when you do have an issue with whatever the issue is, like,
for example,
snoring, baby, I'm having a hard time sleeping,
versus,
you know what, you need to get, you need to go do something about that.
Why you know what? So
You need to go see a doctor. You need to go,
Yeah.
Because it's like, first of all, might be a little embarrassed. I didn't know I was snoring because I wasn't awoke. I was asleep. I wasn't awake. And then now the person that I love, the person I try to impress, try to make giggle or whatever, is saying I'm doing something to tick her off. I'm a little set back. Okay, all right.
Or maybe it's not even to tick them off. It may just be, like you said, I'm not able to sleep.
Yeah.
It's a problem. I'm not mad at you, but I'm having I'm being affected by the experience as well. So, yeah.
Exactly. And so with that, hopefully that spouse will be like, okay, well, babe, I wake up a couple times during the night. You ain't there. This has been going on for a while there. I'm gonna go to the doctor. They have this sleep apnea test or whatever.
Sleep test.
And I see what's going on. Maybe it's something they can help with, because I don't like the fact when I wake up in the middle of the night you're not there.
Right. No Teddy.
And if it's something that can be helped. Just because you do snore and you've always done it, doesn't mean it always have to be that way. Right. And I want my wife in my bed. This is not like Lucy and Ricky Ricardo when they slept in separate beds on TV. I'm pretty sure it wasn't like that in real life. But I digress. Look, we always have such a good time talking about these issues because we love helping people. Yeah. And we just love sharing our testimony. I spoke to a brother today, babe, that he just told me, he just ran up to me like I was a celebrity. I was just like, hey, what's up? He said, bro, I seen y'all on the video on Facebook. I just love what y'all do. Y'all are so real. Y'all are so real. And I'm just like, man, I don't think there's
we
no
can't
other way
help
to be.
it.
If we're going to do this, we're going to have to be authentic. We're going to have to be.
Yeah.
And he was just like, man, y'all just put it out there. I was like, man, we ain't told. We might have told a half, but we ain't told the full.
Yeah, only
yet.
half. You got about half of it. I don't know if y'all can handle it all. You have to come to the conference for that. We're not going to put that on blast for the whole world to see.
The whole world trying to watch Hazard. He was like,
I don't know if I can watch this no more. Did you hear about what she did?
He did what?
He said what? And they stayed together. We still
together. So that right there should give you some encouragement. And to help you maybe give you some hope to work past whatever this issue is. Whatever
you can do it.
I mean, because
you can do it.
We've been there. We listen to couples, and sometimes we hear because they're in this issue right now, and we hear the angst and the pain and the frustration, and we're saying to myself, man. We feel you, but it's hope. I know,
but you can do it.
It's like when somebody hurts themselves, and then somebody like, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
You don't. No, you don't.
I do. No, I do.
Have you ever broken your knee in 3 places? Yes. So you really know.
But we are that couple where we've been through so much, and that we have actually said, you know what? We've made it through, and there's still couples like the No Couple Left Behind. Maybe that's a good motto.
Oh gosh, yes.
There's still couples still going through that. You look back in the obstacle course, and you made through. You went under the ropes. You jumped over. You climbed the wall. You jumped down.
Good
you swam through the lake. And you got through the end. You're like, whoo! You got
mud on your face.
But your roommate is still back there struggling.
Yeah.
So man, why am I gonna sit right here and go get some water and just
be like, well, I'm glad we make it, honey. They need to figure out how to do that stuff because we good.
The reciprocity, the wanting to be able to help someone because you made it through. That's what you say, man. What can I do? You either cheer them on if it's the rules in this particular analogy that I'm giving that you can't go back and help them. Then you go cheer them on. You try to help them out. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. So this is couples pursuit.
Yeah.
We're here to help you to learn how to pursue your spouse.
Yes.
To give you the tools and the strategies to do so. And we're opening up. And this is, we've been hinting around towards this, but we're opening up, this free consultation. And now, spaces, we're not for everybody. There are some people that we're going to be able to help, and there are some people that we're just not going to be able to take because we don't take. If you're just negative, if neither one of you has any hope in the marriage, we might not be the people for you. Yeah.
Somebody's got to want to do it.
Somebody's got to want to do it. and we're once again we're two people, so we can't help everybody all at one time.
Right.
But we do have an opportunity for you to, if you want to work with us, you can. And the website would be couplespursuit.com/talk. TALK. It's simple. I made it simple for you because I know some people are like, well, I'm on the radio, I'm driving, I can't take this down right now. It's a long URL link. And so I made it simple. I shortened it up and I said, you just go to couplespursuit.com/talk. There you can book a free 30-minute clarity session with us, and we can help you figure out, what's the issue, where can we go forward, and what steps we can take. And then if you decide to work with us even more, then we'll present the opportunity for that.
Exactly.
So we just thank you so much.
Yeah.
It just goes by so
It goes by so quickly, but I just want to encourage you all today, whenever you're listening, whatever time, in the moment that you hear this, I want you to understand that we were both at our wits' end. It was over. We were done. We were planning separation and divorce and counseling so that we could learn how to get along better after the marriage, because I believe I always had the pressure of how our dysfunction would affect our children. But I believe my husband began to see it even more towards the end. And we couldn't continue to parent even separately. We couldn't then have two dysfunctional households, two broken households, where they would have to come and feel like they needed to defend mom, or they would have to go and feel like they needed to defend dad, or they couldn't celebrate either one of us. All of that foolishness that goes on in the midst of divisiveness that occurs in marriage has to cease. And when you're in the middle of it, it really does seem like, I can't do this. I you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
I have had enough. I can't please her. I can't please him. Maybe God was mistaken when he said she's the one or he's the one. Because when we don't want to do right,
we blame it on God. Because God,
we like, well, honey,
would have told you that. He would know. You said that's the one. Yeah, you might have some circumstances that brought you together, but nah.
God is not confused.
He's not going to tell you who to marry.
He's not crazy.
But he will allow you to choose your mate.
And if he does tell you this person is your husband, is your wife, I'll say that. If he says this person is your wife and you should prepare and pursue her, then he's not crazy. He's not crazy. It's up to you to prepare yourself and to understand the vows as well as the pleasantries of marriage, for better or worse, rich or poor, in sickness and in health, until death do you part. So something's going to happen. As beautiful as she might be, as educated as she may be, as, pleasing as she may be to you in every area of your life and relationship, she's still a person.
Yeah.
And you're not always going to agree. You may not always like what she does, and vice versa. And so you're going to have to learn how to handle the hard times as well as the easy ones. So I just challenge you, do not give up. Yes. Don't give up.
Look, we started it off like this. We're going to end it like this. Look, don't let the little things become the big thing. Yeah. If you don't get anything else from what we said, hopefully we said something that resonated with you that you could take back to your spouse, or hopefully your spouse is watching. But if anything that I hope you leave and you take this away with you is that don't let the little things turn into a big thing, because they can just keep stacking. They're not going anywhere. If it's an issue before, it's still an issue after. Yeah. If you don't deal with it.
Yeah.
And until next time.
Yes, until next time. And one more thing, honey. I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention also, sometimes if you let that thing turn into a big thing, you will get to the point where it will seem like you can't be helped. And that might be when you need to have professional help. Yeah. My husband and I are not licensed. We have life experience. Okay? We have life experience, and we would love to mentor you, coach you through those times, but we also understand that sometimes you need someone else, depending upon what your issues are. And you may be at that point in your marriage where you need a counselor, you need a marriage counselor, a therapist. Don't be afraid to take that jump either, because we went there as well.
That's right. And if like I said, we can't work with everybody. And if you decide that I need somebody to talk to now, and you can book a call with us. And if we decide that maybe we're not the right ones for you, we're going to tell you, look, we're not greedy. We know that it's no use taking a person on as a mentee and not being able to help them. That's got to be one of the most frustrating things in the world, is to say you can help someone and then you're not able to do it. That's right. If that happens, you come to a call with us and we're not the right fit for you, we'll let you know. We'll let you know that. We'll let you know that.
It's not about gain for us. It's about giving. So, But we thank you. I'm not going to add another point. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you heard something that blessed you tonight. And until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you, and give you peace. We'll see you next time here on Couples Pursuit Live. Bye.